Waking up spiritually is like stepping out of a dimly lit room into the bright sunlight for the first time. The world around you feels more vivid, clearer, yet overwhelming. Suddenly you realize that while you've been wandering through familiar paths, others are still lost in the shadows, comfortable in their routines. This awakening isn't just a shift in perception. It's a complete transformation of how you experience life. Once you've seen things as they truly are, there's no turning back. The familiar ways dissolve, leaving you with only the path forward. This new perspective offers a profound sense of freedom, but it also brings a unique kind of loneliness. Imagine standing on a hilltop, breathing in the crisp air, but looking down to see those you love living in the valley below, unaware of the view you now have. They're content with their daily lives, chasing comfort, status, and the illusion of control. You start to question, is this awareness a gift or a curse? Why am I compelled to search for deeper meaning when others seem happy in their ignorance? The journey of spiritual awakening is challenging, but it's one worth taking. The road might be rough, but the experiences and insights you gain along the way are beyond anything you could have imagined. However, just like any significant change, spiritual awakening comes with its own set of unexpected challenges. These aren't necessarily good or bad, they simply are. Think of it like adjusting to a new environment. You're breathing a different kind of air now, and it takes time to get used to it. Let's explore some of the lesser-known effects of spiritual awakening, the subtle shifts that people often don't talk about, but almost everyone experiences. 1. A new kind of confusion. Picture yourself waking up in a world that looks both familiar and completely alien at the same time. For a moment, everything feels still and calm. Then, the floodgates open, and questions pour in. What just happened? Why do I feel so different? Am I going crazy? This is the confusion that often follows a spiritual awakening. It's like being dropped into a foreign country where you don't know the language or the customs. Even if you've been studying spirituality for years, the actual experience of awakening is something no book can fully prepare you for. The mind, which usually thrives on predictability and routine, suddenly finds itself in uncharted territory. It grasps for anything familiar, searching through spiritual texts, teachings, and philosophies in a desperate attempt to make sense of what's happening. What can you do in the midst of this confusion? Feeling confused is completely normal, but it's important not to let it spiral into panic or an obsessive quest for answers. While it might be tempting to seek immediate explanations, sometimes the best approach is to sit with the uncertainty. There's a lesson hidden within the confusion itself. Think of it as a mist that forces you to slow down, take in your surroundings, and become more present in each moment. This period of disorientation is not just a hurdle. It's part of the process, urging you to trust in the unknown and be open to what comes next. By embracing this uncertainty, you allow yourself to grow in ways you never thought possible. You begin to see that the confusion isn't something to be feared, but rather a sign that you're on the brink of deeper understanding. Instead of constantly seeking approval or answers from the outside world, try embracing moments of silence. Silence holds a unique power. It's like a doorway to deeper understanding. It connects you to a place within yourself that doesn't demand immediate answers, a space where you can simply exist. When you quiet the noise of your thoughts, you create room for your inner wisdom to surface. While it's natural to look to spiritual texts or teachings for guidance, it's important to remember that your truest guide is within you. You don't always need a detailed map to navigate the journey of awakening. Sometimes you just need to be still and trust the flow. Your path may be filled with questions right now, but these questions are not obstacles. They're invitations, encouraging you to explore further and dive deeper. Instead of fearing the uncertainty, try welcoming it. The beauty of awakening lies in its continuous unfolding, revealing layers of understanding you didn't even know were there. Confusion isn't a dead end. It's more like a scenic detour. This winding path may take longer, but it's rich with experiences and insights you would have missed on a straight, predictable road. See it as an opportunity to dig deeper, to listen more attentively, and to cultivate a level of patience and openness that you might not have accessed before. The unknown isn't something to avoid. It's a fertile ground for growth and discovery. 2. You feel disconnected. Imagine discovering a new radio station that plays the music of your soul. It feels deeply resonant, almost like it was meant just for you. But as you tune into this station, you notice that all the other stations you once listened to are now filled with static, distorted, or completely silent. This is what the disconnection often feels like during a spiritual awakening. As you become more in tune with your true self, the world around you may start to shift in unexpected ways. Relationships with old friends might become more complicated. Where you once easily engaged in conversation, you might now find yourself retreating into silence. Topics that once fascinated you now seem shallow and unimportant. Those who were once your closest companions can suddenly feel like distant stars, still there, but no longer within reach. Your priorities begin to shift rapidly. There are stories about people who, after their own awakening, transitioned from being devoted meat-eaters to committed vegetarians in the span of just 1 week. The change was sudden, profound, and non-negotiable for them, reflecting how deep and rapid these shifts can be. This phase of awakening can feel like slipping into a new skin, and it's not uncommon to feel lonely during this transformative time. You may find yourself craving deeper, more meaningful connections and conversations that nourish your spirit rather than drain it. What can you do amid the disconnection? Feeling disconnected isn't a sign that you need to revert to your old ways or fit back into your old pants, so to speak. Instead, it's a call to embrace the uniqueness of your evolving self, even if it means others don't understand or accept it. This journey is about you and your growth, not about fitting into others' expectations. While it can be tough not to be influenced or hurt by those around you, it's important to remember why you started this journey: to live authentically as yourself. This period of feeling uncertain and vulnerable is delicate and requires you to protect your evolving self, much like caring for a tender new plant. Seek out spiritual companions who can listen without judgment and provide a safe space for your developing beliefs. Find environments where your heart feels understood, rather than ones that demand you to justify or defend your experiences. Think of yourself as a young sapling in a forest of towering ancient trees. While these trees may seem imposing and well-established, remember that you too are growing at your own pace and in your own direction. It may feel isolating at first, but you are not alone. Reach out to those who can offer support and nourishment to your soul, much like rain and soil do for a growing tree. Disconnection isn't an end. It's more of a bridge between where you were and where you're headed. On the other side, you'll find new connections that align more closely with your true self, offering a sense of belonging that is deeper and more fulfilling than what you've known before. 3. Increased sensitivity to pain. Spiritual awakening isn't like flipping a switch that suddenly frees you from all struggles and fills your life with constant peace. In fact, awakening often brings more pain into focus, not less. But why is that? Because awakening strips away the layers of illusion and denial. It's like opening the curtains to let in the morning sun. The light reveals everything in the room, including the dust and clutter you hadn't noticed before. When you awaken, you gain a heightened awareness of yourself and the world around you. But old habits are strong, and there will be times when you slip back into unconscious patterns. It's in these moments that the contrast between your new awareness and your old ways becomes painfully clear. Before awakening, you might have been oblivious to the deeper impact of your actions, but now, every emotion and interaction feels more intense and significant. This heightened sensitivity isn't limited to your own experiences. You become more attuned to the pain of others and even the collective suffering of the world. Your empathy deepens, and what once was a secondary feeling now becomes a central part of your existence. The world's pain is no longer something you can easily ignore. It's something you feel as if it were your own. As paradoxical as it sounds, this increased sensitivity to pain is actually a sign of your deep connection to life. Trying to numb or avoid this pain will only make it return with more force. Instead, it's important to find ways to express this heightened sensitivity. Let the emotions flow, whether through tears, a shout, or creative outlets like writing, painting, or even tending a garden. Expressing your pain is not a weakness, it's a profound act of strength. By giving your pain an outlet, you're not just releasing it, you're transforming it into something meaningful. Think of it like a steam valve. If the pressure builds up too much, you need to release it to avoid an explosion. In this sense, the pain you feel after awakening is a call to live more authentically, with greater compassion and awareness of life's complexities. Acknowledge the pain, but also see it as a tool for deeper understanding and connection, both with yourself and the world around you. 4. You experience an existential crisis. The path of awakening often leads you into a challenging phase, an existential crisis. While the term is sometimes used lightly by those pondering their place in the world, for someone truly awakened, the question, "Who am I?" transforms from a casual thought into a profound and urgent dilemma that weighs heavily on your mind. Your old identity, the one you once wore comfortably like a favorite piece of clothing, suddenly feels out of place. It's as if you've outgrown it, but you're not quite sure what fits anymore. You find yourself in a state of limbo, disconnected from who you used to be, yet uncertain about the person you are becoming. Questions like, "Why am I here?" or "What's my purpose?" are no longer just philosophical musings. They become pressing concerns that demand answers. This phase can feel incredibly disorienting. It's like you're standing in the middle of a dense forest with countless paths branching out in every direction, each one claiming to be the right way forward. It's overwhelming and, let's face it, a little scary. Here's what you can do during your existential crisis. First, acknowledge that there's no turning back. Your old self is like a book that's been closed, and trying to reopen it will only lead to frustration. Accept that this crisis is a natural part of your journey. Secondly, resist the urge to rush through this process. Unanswered questions may be uncomfortable, but they are a sign that you're on the verge of deeper understanding. If you have a mentor or guide, now is the time to seek their insight and support. If you're navigating this alone, trust in the process. Think of it like being on a long hike through uncharted terrain. Just because you don't see any trail markers right now doesn't mean you're lost. It simply means you haven't reached the next one yet. Keep moving forward, take in the scenery around you, and trust that eventually you'll come across the signs that point you in the right direction. This existential crisis might feel like an endless cycle of doubt and uncertainty, but it's a phase that nearly every awakened person must go through. And remember, the very fact that you're questioning your existence is evidence that you're evolving. Even if the answers aren't immediately clear, the act of searching for them is itself a form of growth. Though it may not feel like it right now, this is an important step toward discovering your true self. 5. You might feel a sense of superiority. Spiritual awakening can be so enlightening that it's easy to feel as if you've stumbled upon a profound cosmic truth. It's not uncommon to start viewing yourself as someone special, perhaps even as a guide in a world that seems lost. The idea that you're somehow chosen or superior can quietly slip into your mind. You might feel a strong urge to awaken others, to pull them out of what you see as their ignorance, believing it's for their own good. However, this is where you need to tread carefully. Your spiritual path is uniquely yours. Each person has their own journey, complete with personal lessons and their own timing. Trying to push someone else along their path is like forcing a flower to bloom before it's ready. It won't speed up the process and could even cause harm. Don't confuse your empathy with a license to offer advice where it hasn't been requested. Even the best intentions can sometimes come across as intrusive. So keep your wisdom close unless someone actively seeks it out. Your most powerful tool should be love, pure, unconditional love. Love can gently encourage others to see things differently without making them feel pressured or judged. Imagine your interactions as sharing a cup of tea. Love should be like the water, forming the foundation of the experience, while your wisdom is like the tea leaves, adding subtle flavor without overpowering the drink. If someone is ready and willing, they'll ask for more tea leaves. If not, even a warm cup of water can be comforting and nurturing on its own. Remember, awakening is a deeply personal experience. While your insights may feel like the missing pieces of someone else's puzzle, they might not be ready to integrate them into their own life just yet. And that's perfectly okay. Continue to share your love openly and keep your wisdom available for those who genuinely seek it. Spiritual awakening is both a gift and a challenge, a delicate balance between clarity and confusion. Trust your own journey and let your empathy shine, enriching the world around you without forcing it to change. If you're ready to embark on your own journey of spiritual awakening and want to dive a little deeper into these insights, I encourage you to check out the video on the screen. If you found this discussion enlightening, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may benefit from it. Your support helps us spread these important messages. Thank you for watching.